Average Directional Index, ADX, Trend Strength Indicator. Broadly speaking, the trend of asset prices in the trading world is divided into three, namely an uptrend, bullish, a downtrend, bearish, and a flat trend, sideways. However, the line only helps you to get an idea of where the price trend is headed and does not show how strong or weak the trend is. One indicator that can be used to check the level of trend strength is the Average Directional Index, ADX, indicator. Average Directional Index, ADX, is a technical indicator used to check the strength of a trend. The ADX indicator will appear as a line under the price curve. This indicator will also be accompanied by two other lines, namely the plus DI, positive directional indicator, and DI, negative directional indicator, line. ADX is a combination of the two indicators after filtering using a moving average. Average Directional Index, ADX, formula. The Average Directional Index, ADX, indicator is calculated taking into account the current high and low prices and the highs and lows of the previous trading session. In addition, to calculate ADX, you also need to know the average true range, ATR, of the instrument you want to buy first. The formula for Average Directional Index is ADX equals 100 EMA plus DI, DI, plus DI plus DI. How to calculate Average Directional Index? Enter plus DM into the calculation if the difference between the most recent and yesterday's high is higher than the difference between the most recent low and yesterday's low. Enter plus DM into the calculation if the difference between the latest and yesterday's highest price is lower than the difference between the latest low and yesterday's low. With the development of technology as it is today, you do not need to calculate the Average Directional Index, ADX, manually. Broadly speaking, the ADX score can indicate the strength of the trend is weak if the value is below 25 or 20, the trend is strong if the score is around 20 to 40 and the trend is very strong, extreme, if the score is above 40. It should also be remembered that the Average Directional Index, ADX, only estimates the level of trend strength and does not indicate whether the trend is bullish, bearish, will reverse or will continue. So, if the ADX value is above 30 but the price curve shows a decline, it means that a strong bearish trend is occurring. On the other hand, if the ADX value is below 20 but the price curve shows an increase, it means that a weak bullish trend is occurring. If the ADX indicator only shows how strong a trend is, then the plus DI and DI lines indicate the direction of the trend so that the intersection between ADX, plus DI and DI can be used as a buy/sell signal. For example, there will be a buy signal if the plus DI line crosses the DI line from above while the ADX value is above 20. Because that means, there is a tendency for the trend to move up with a fairly strong level of strength. On the other hand, if the DI line crosses the plus DI line from above and the ADX value is more than 20, then that means you can open a short position or sell your asset. Then, what if the price trend is sideways? Plus DI and DI only move side by side but the ADX is more than 20. This means that sideways conditions are strong. Plus DI and DI only move side by side and the ADX is less than 20. This means that the sideways condition is weak. There are buy or sell signals that appear but the price trend after that will not be strong. If what happens to your asset price curve is the three possibilities above, then you should wait for a breakout. Average Directional Index, ADX, is an indicator used to estimate the strength of a trend. A trend is said to be strong enough if the ADX value is around 20 to 40 and is said to be weak if it is below 20. Traders should open trading positions when the ADX score is strong and there is a cross between the plus DI and DI lines. The ADX indicator is not a perfect indicator and there may be miscalculations. Therefore, you should also accompany this indicator with other technical indicators so that the results of your analysis are more comprehensive and valid.